Hey everyone, and welcome to the first podcast episode of Jess Sayin. Wow. So here it is. Let's kick it off right now. So, what is my podcast about? Jess Sayin is basically going to be about stories. Stories that interest me, things that I think would be able to generate conversation starters, and things that people are interested in. I am really only I really only gravitate toward topics of things that interest me. And while I love learning, I really only like learning about things that interest me. I'm very particular. If there's a topic going on, even in school, I remember math, not interested, not going to learn it. Science, a little interested, but not interested enough. I really just don't care. So I'm going to be talking about stories that interest me, topics that I think that are beneficial to my listeners. I also want to make sure that if I'm picking something to talk about, are my listeners going to want to listen to? And do they have an opinion? And I always plan to leave the end of my podcast with a Jess Sayin. So more on that to come. But basically, I was thinking for my first podcast, why not tell a story about myself? For those of you who don't know me personally, I was to be getting married June 20th, 2020. However, due to the COVID-19 situation, that was postponed until next June. So June 26, 2021 is my new wedding date. So my beautiful fiance, John, love him so much, will be getting married. We originally got engaged October of 2018. He asked me to marry him. And of course I said yes. And we were thinking about, what do we want to do? How do we want to do it? All that fun stuff, wedding stuff. And we had our hearts. I had my heart set on a June wedding. I've always, if there was any month in the year I wanted to get married, it was June. So I knew I had that. And in October, I don't know if other people resonate with this, but for me, once you hit October, even October 1st, any day in October, it's literally, then it's Thanksgiving, then snap your finger, it's Christmas, then it's New Year's, and then 3 months of a year, to me, just fly by. So when I was thinking of planning a wedding, I really didn't feel from October 2018 to June of 2019, we personally would have enough money. And then it just was too crunch time for me to get that fully going. So we decided on the June 2020. Well, COVID hit mid-March, hit the United States pretty hard. I had really held out hope. I was holding out hope that my wedding would happen. I was just very hopeful that things would kind of quiet down. Obviously, they didn't. Talked to my venue extensively, about what to do. They suggested I reschedule. This was the beginning of May 2020. They suggested I reschedule. So I did. I got their only Saturday left for the following June. And I just took it because I wanted a June wedding. That was really my only large request. Because a lot of the decor items that I was gravitating toward were very pink and white and cream and florals. And it was just a summer vision. Neither here nor there. It's rescheduled, which is great. So that's what I'm dealing with now. But the one upside to this is that really all my vendors are paid. I really only owe a little bit of money left to my DJ that I was planning on paying him, a couple weeks before the original date of the wedding. And now I don't have to worry about that till next year. So that's been a relief, but really everything else is paid. My dress is paid. I got shoes. All the girls have their bridesmaids dresses. All of our vendors are paid. Our photographer is paid. Our videographer is paid. We got a lot of the big ticket items down. The only real loss, I guess, if you want to say I faced was, the invitations. That was an expense that basically just got flushed down the drain. I think I spent $100 and some on the invitations. I ordered them off a website. So in the grand scheme of things, that hit wasn't too bad, but still a hit. Not a problem. I can order more invitations. That's no problem. And I didn't get to do my wedding shower I had planned for April either. So that was kind of a bummer because I had a breakfast at Tiffany's themed shower. And I was actually more excited for the shower themed than I was for the wedding. I'm a huge Audrey Hepburn fan. So when I was originally researching what I could do for a shower, I kept seeing things on Pinterest, these breakfast at Tiffany themed things. And I just was like, I have to do a shower. And I just started pinning all types of things. And my mom fell in love with the idea, and all the girls were super excited about it. So that will still be next year too. So I've just been kind of hanging tight. A little background about my fiance and I, John. We met each other our senior year of high school, and we've kind of been inseparable ever since. I met him I met him in March, maybe February of 2007, my senior year of high school. And we've just kind of been together ever since. I really knew the first day I met him. And it was like, there's just something about him. I just felt good about him. And then, of course, being together with someone for this long, obviously there have been bumps in the road. Obviously we've had arguments. We've broken up, got back together, broken up, got back together, hurt each other. But in the end, we came out on top together, and that's all I care about. And that's all that matters to me. And that's all we do. We just keep pressing forward. So interesting to hear if you guys have any COVID wedding stories. Maybe you know somebody. Maybe you are a COVID-19 bride like myself. So maybe you have a story to share as well. I would say the most frustrating part of it all is dealing with people, dealing with other people's opinions, dealing with people's opinions in your family that you just, it's difficult. Everyone, opinions are like assholes, right? We all got one. So that's tough. But I had to do what was best for me and John and our guests. A lot of our guests, sorry to say, are 60 plus. A lot of our guests' age, 60 plus. So it would be too much of a risk. I'm not trying to put anyone's health at risk over a wedding day. Not my style. It's hard for me to even ask people for help. So to ask people to come to a wedding with a mask on was a no-go. Originally, let me back up here. We postponed our wedding, I want to say early May. But then just a few weeks ago, or this might have been just 2 weeks ago, I guess, our venue reached out to me and said, hey, we know that we're green now. If you still want to move forward with 620, we can still do that. However, there will be social distancing guidelines. There was not a 100% guarantee I would have been able to have my dance floor. And that's super important to me because that's the fun of the wedding. Get up and dance and get a drink and have fun. And if I couldn't do that or provide that to my guests, then I don't want to have that type of wedding. So I'm really hoping 6/26/2021 will be the day. Can't wait. Super excited. What else is going on? So this weekend, story from this weekend, I have the most amazing work crew friends. It's very rare when you are in a job that you meet you meet people that become friends, and then those friends become family. Because I have a really tight-knit group of people I work with that I consider like my family, and I would do anything for them, and they would do anything for me. One of those coworkers is a bridesmaid of mine. So one of our coworkers, she has a pool at her home and a nice covered deck area, and she just got new deck furniture, and she wanted to throw a pool party. She was celebrating her sister's birthday, but she also wanted to make sure that we did something fun since that day, June 20th, 2020 was ruined, by COVID-19. So she had a little pool party, and we went, and we had so much fun. We had drinks, we laid by the pool. I made my bridesmaid take selfies of me, so that was fun. We did a lot of videos, and it was honestly, this is what's so tough is June 20th, 2020 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania was the most beautiful day. No rain, The sun was out. The sky was so blue. There were big white fluffy clouds in and out of sun. It was, and I want to say around 80s, in the 80 degrees area. It would have been the most perfect day for a wedding. So while I was trying to enjoy myself and be happy, I kept thinking, oh, this would have been the most perfect day for my wedding. But it wasn't meant to be. So I move on. Oh, we had so much fun. We had the most delicious food. There were wraps, chicken tenders. She ordered delicious gourmet cupcakes, special kind of cupcakes with little toppings on them. So good. We had so much fun in the pool. My friend got, she did a couple more shots. I did a half of a blueberry bomb, which was, I'm not a huge drinker. I do like to have a drink and relax, but day to day, I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. Doesn't sit well with me after all these years. But a blueberry bomb is basically just blueberry vodka and Red Bull. You can really make, it however you want, but that's how it was described to me by one of the guests at the party. Sure, I'll take one. Yeah. So I took a couple sips of the shot and actually threw the other half over the pool deck because I was like, ugh. My friend, my bridesmaid, downed hers very quickly and then proceeded later on to do two more blueberry bombs. So she was kind of bombed out at the end, but she's fine. I took her home and she's okay. Just a little too much sun, a little too much alcohol will do that to you, will burn you out real quick. And the sun, I tell you what, that sun, man, it's killer. It will just knock you out. But we had so much fun. So many good girls there. Just really nice people. I'm really so fortunate to just know such great, nice people. It is, you think you know somebody, right? But it's just so nice to really know somebody. So what else I want to do on my podcast is, my name is Jessica. Which inspired the name for my podcast, Jess Sayin. And I kind of just want to end every podcast with a little bit of an opinion, my just saying type thing. And any other bride out there, groom, anybody going through their COVID-19 wedding postponement, I feel ya. It sucks. And especially it sucks for people who have been planning. I have been planning for a year and a half. And for now to wait another year, it's just devastating. And I want to let everybody know that it's okay. It doesn't feel right at the time. It might be very frustrating. You might be an angry person, and you might be someone who just is super angry, doesn't understand that it will be okay. People ask me, oh, how are you doing? How are you taking it? And what do I say? I say half the day I'm laughing, half the day I'm crying, because that's really the emotional roller coaster it is. It's, what can you do but laugh? Who would have known that COVID-19 was going to strike this year, basically closing down the United States for a period of time where everyone's basically homebound unless you're considered an essential employee. It's laughable. How would I have known that? It's comical. I mean, there's just nothing I could do. And then on the other hand, I'm crying because I'm sad. That's my wedding. I was planning it. I had just 2 weeks ago just went for my final dress fitting. My dress fits perfect. So it's just it is sad, but it's like I'm laughing, I'm crying, I'm laughing, I'm crying. Get over yourself, right? So another thing, this too shall pass. I took a couple days off. Well, I had prior to the wedding being canceled, I had already scheduled time off from work, for my corporate job to to be involved in my wedding, to have days before to plan and just be ready. So I took off a week from work, and just from this being off this week from work, I was so excited. I was so excited just to not be working or not having to answer to my constantly ringing phone or my incoming emails. It was just, I was so excited just to not have to do that the time just flew by. And that's how I kind of compare it to the wedding. These days went just as fast as any other day would have went, even if I was working. When I'm working, my days go by really fast. So I don't want you to get caught up in, the moment to moment, oh, my wedding's canceled. Now what am I going to do? This is so shitty. It's okay. Be thankful you're alive and healthy. Maybe that sounds really extreme, but, it's really not the end of the world. So you can always replan, pick a new date, you can buy new invitations. And if you're faced with someone that's nasty, if you're faced with someone that's just running their mouth, faced with someone that's maybe just a Debbie Downer, ignore them. Because energy and feelings like that, rub off on people. So if you're constantly in a worried, angry, pessimistic state, most likely either the people around you will either feed into that or or just kind of push back from that. Me, I push back from that because I just don't think that way. But it's okay. It will be okay. And, I'm, lots of brides are doing more smaller, intimate ceremonies, which I find beautiful. There's this Facebook group I'm on, a wedding community group, and lots of brides are posting on there that, hey, due to COVID-19, we decided to cut our guest list and we did a small 20-person ceremony and reception. And that's beautiful. What's wrong with that? I think a lot of people get caught up in the wedding itself and the bigger the better, this, the that, the decorations, the flowers, all this stuff. And really none of that matters. What matters is that you found your person and that you want to commit yourself with that person for the rest of your life. Everything else falls to the wayside. So for me, I don't, in my head, I want the wedding. Our wedding wasn't going to be big. It was going to be around 120 people. And that includes the bridal party. So in the grand scheme of things, that's not considered a big wedding. But I have a large family. So for me to do a smaller ceremony like that, it would have been so difficult for me to pick and choose which family members would have had to attend, also including, John has a smaller family than I, but he still would have to pick and choose between what family he would want, and that's just not fair. We want to do it with everybody that we want there. And I said, if I'm going to do it next year then, and that's okay. It's okay to do whatever is best for you. Just saying. It is always okay. Actually, it's never wrong to do what's best for you. Never, ever, ever. Because when you start doing what's best for everyone else, then you suffer. And if you don't take care of you and make sure that you're good first, how can you help others? How can you do it if you're not in tip-top shape? Just saying. It's true. It is. So I'm going to wrap things up here. I kind of was rambling on a little bit, but this is just a story of mine. I'm a COVID-19 bride. I got postponed, and that's about it. I would love to hear any of your comments, or if, any of you guys are just in the same situation. Maybe you're a bridesmaid in a COVID-19 wedding. Maybe you're a groomsman. Maybe you're the maid of honor. Maybe you're the mother-in-law. Leave a comment. Tell me, hey, I know what you're talking about. I get it. Thank you everyone so much for listening to my first podcast. This is just one story of many to come. And as always, just saying.